The city never slept. New York was alive at every hour of the day. Yellow taxis rushed through crowded streets. Bright billboards lit up Times Square like daylight even at midnight. People from every corner of the world walked past one another, each carrying dreams, hopes, and stories of their own. Among those dreamers was Ethan Parker. At 28 years old, Ethan had recently moved to Manhattan from a small town in Ohio. He had accepted a position at a prestigious architecture firm located near Central Park. It was the opportunity he had worked toward for years. Yet despite achieving his professional dream, Ethan often felt alone. His apartment was small but comfortable. Every morning, he stood by the window overlooking the busy street below, watching strangers hurry toward destinations he knew nothing about. He had friends at work. He had a stable job. He had a future. But something was missing. Something he could not explain. One chilly October morning, Ethan left his apartment earlier than usual. The air carried the scent of fresh coffee and autumn leaves. Trees lining the sidewalks displayed brilliant shades of orange, red, and gold. He decided to stop at a small coffee shop he had never visited before. The sign above the entrance read, "Maple and Bean." The cafe looked warm and inviting. Soft music played inside. The smell of roasted coffee beans filled the air. People sat near the windows reading books or working on laptops. Ethan stepped inside and joined the short line. That was when he noticed her. A young woman sat alone near the far window. Golden sunlight streamed through the glass and illuminated her chestnut-brown hair. She wore a cream-colored sweater and was completely focused on the notebook in front of her. She wasn't looking at her phone. She wasn't distracted. She was writing. Something about her seemed different. Peaceful. Authentic. Real. For a moment, Ethan found himself staring. Then she looked up. Their eyes met. Ethan quickly looked away. Embarrassed. He ordered his coffee and found a seat near the opposite side of the cafe. But every few minutes, he glanced toward her. She continued writing. Occasionally she smiled to herself. Sometimes she paused and gazed out the window as though imagining another world. Hours later, Ethan still couldn't explain why he noticed her. New York was filled with beautiful people. Yet there was something special about this stranger. Before leaving, she closed her notebook and stood. As she walked toward the exit, a folded piece of paper slipped from her bag. She didn't notice. The paper landed near Ethan's chair. He picked it up. "Excuse me," he called. The woman turned. Their eyes met again. "You dropped this." She smiled warmly. The kind of smile that immediately brightened a room. "Oh my goodness. Thank you." Her voice was soft and kind. Ethan handed her the paper. "No problem." For a second, neither moved. Neither spoke. Then she extended her hand. "I'm Emily Carter." Ethan shook it. "Ethan Parker. Nice to meet you, Ethan." "You too." Emily glanced toward the door. "I should get going." "Right." There was another brief silence. Then she smiled again. "Maybe I'll see you around." And just like that, she left. The cafe door closed behind her. Yet Ethan remained frozen in place. The words echoed in his mind. "Maybe I'll see you around." For the first time since arriving in New York, he felt something unexpected. Hope. He didn't know why. He didn't know what would happen next. He only knew one thing. The city suddenly felt a little less lonely. Outside, autumn leaves drifted through the streets of Manhattan. And somewhere among millions of people, a story had quietly begun. A story neither Ethan nor Emily could yet imagine. But destiny had already started writing the next chapter. The second encounter. 3 days passed. For most people, 3 days would mean nothing. But for Ethan Parker, those 3 days felt unusually long. Every morning before work, he found himself returning to Maple and Bean. He told himself it was because the coffee was excellent. Deep down, however, he knew the truth. He was hoping to see Emily again. The same window seat remained occupied by different customers each day. An elderly man reading newspapers. A college student studying for exams. A young mother feeding her child. But Emily never appeared. By Friday morning, Ethan finally laughed at himself. "What am I doing?" he muttered while stirring his coffee. New York had millions of people. The chances of randomly meeting the same stranger again were incredibly small. He finished his drink and headed toward work. The day became busy almost immediately. Blueprints. Meetings. Design revisions. Client presentations. Hours passed quickly. By evening, the office had nearly emptied. Ethan shut down his computer and decided to walk home instead of taking the subway. The cool autumn air felt refreshing after spending the entire day indoors. As he crossed a street near Bryant Park, he noticed a crowd gathering around a small outdoor event. Curious, he slowed his pace. A local book festival was taking place. Dozens of small tents lined the park. Independent authors displayed books. Artists sold paintings. Musicians performed acoustic songs. The atmosphere felt magical. String lights glowed above the walkways. People laughed and wandered between booths. Ethan wasn't planning to stay. But then he saw someone familiar. Standing behind a table filled with books. Emily. For a moment, he wondered if he was imagining things. But there she was. Her chestnut hair moved gently in the evening breeze. She was speaking with visitors and signing copies of a book. A book. Ethan blinked. Emily was an author. The realization surprised him. As he approached, he noticed the title displayed on the cover. Asterisk, the spaces between stars. Asterisk. A romance novel. Emily looked up. The moment she recognized him, her face lit up. Ethan. His heart skipped slightly. She remembered his name. Emily. She smiled. "I was wondering if I'd see you again." Ethan laughed. "Really?" "Because I was starting to think New York had swallowed you." Emily grinned. "It's tried." They both laughed. The conversation felt surprisingly natural. Comfortable. As though they were old friends reconnecting rather than two strangers meeting for only the second time. "You write novels?" Ethan asked. Emily nodded. "Mostly romance." He picked up a copy of her book. "So you're the reason people cry at 3 in the morning?" Emily laughed loudly. "Possibly. I knew it." She crossed her arms playfully. "And what about you, Mr. Parker?" "I'm an architect." Emily's eyes widened. "Seriously?" "Seriously. That's actually fascinating." Ethan smiled. "Most people don't describe architecture as fascinating. That's because most people don't realize buildings tell stories." The answer surprised him. Emily continued. "Every building reflects someone's dream. Someone imagined it before it existed." Ethan stared at her. No one had ever described his profession that way before. And somehow, Emily had captured exactly why he loved architecture. For a moment, neither spoke. The noise of the festival seemed to fade into the background. Then Emily looked away first. So. She laughed. "You're copying me. You started it." The playful exchange made them both smile. As sunset painted the sky with shades of pink and orange, the festival slowly became more crowded. People approached Emily's booth. She signed "Boo." The lights overhead glowed brighter against the darkening sky. Emily carefully stacked her remaining books into boxes. Need help? Ethan asked. You don't have to. I know. She hesitated. Then smiled. Okay. Together they carried boxes toward a nearby storage van. When everything was finished, Emily brushed a loose strand of hair behind her ear. Thank you. Anytime. For a brief moment, an awkward silence returned. The kind of silence that appears when two people want the conversation to continue but aren't sure how. Finally Emily spoke. Would it be weird if I asked for your number? Ethan laughed. Only if you planned on never using it. Emily smiled. I think I can avoid that. They exchanged phones. Numbers became contacts. Strangers became something more. Not lovers. Not yet. But no longer strangers. The city lights sparkled around them. Cars moved through the streets. People hurried past without realizing that something important had just happened. Emily glanced at her phone. There. Ethan checked his screen. A new contact appeared. Emily Carter. Along with a message. Asterisk, in case New York tries to swallow me again. Asterisk. Ethan smiled. I'll keep an eye out. She laughed softly. Good. For a second, neither moved. Neither wanted to leave. But eventually reality interrupted. I should go, Emily said. Yeah. Good night, Ethan. Good night, Emily. She turned and walked away. This time, Ethan didn't feel disappointed watching her leave. Because now he knew something he hadn't known before. This wasn't the end of their story. It was only the beginning. As he walked home beneath the glowing lights of New York City, his phone vibrated. A new message appeared. From Emily. Asterisk, nice seeing you again. Asterisk. Ethan smiled immediately. Then typed back. Asterisk, definitely better than seeing architectural blueprints all day. Asterisk. 3 dots appeared. Emily was typing. And somewhere in the heart of New York, 2 lives had just growing friendship. The first text message led to another. And then another. Soon, Ethan and Emily found themselves talking every day. At first, the conversations were simple. Good morning. How was work? How's your writing going? Did you survive Monday? But gradually, those short messages became longer. Much longer. Sometimes Ethan would wake up and find a message Emily had sent late at night. Sometimes Emily would discover a funny photo Ethan had texted during lunch. Neither planned for it to happen. Yet somehow, talking to each other became part of their daily routine. One rainy Tuesday evening, Ethan sat alone in his apartment. Thunder rumbled outside. Raindrops tapped against the windows. He was reviewing building designs when his phone suddenly rang. Emily. A smile instantly appeared on his face. He answered. Hello. Emergency. Ethan sat upright. What happened? Emily sighed dramatically. I have writer's block. He laughed. That's the emergency. It absolutely is. I'm relieved. You should be helping me. Ethan leaned back in his chair. Okay. What's the problem? My characters refuse to cooperate. They're fictional. They don't know that. For the next hour, they talked about her novel. Then about movies. Then childhood memories. Then random subjects neither could remember later. The conversation flowed effortlessly. Natural. Comfortable. Easy. When they finally ended the call, Ethan glanced at the clock. 3 hours had passed. It felt like 20 minutes. The following weekend, they met again. This time at Central Park. The autumn season had transformed the park into something magical. Golden leaves covered the pathways. Street musicians played soft melodies. Families enjoyed the cool weather. Emily arrived wearing a dark green coat and a knitted scarf. Ethan couldn't help smiling when he saw her. She looked beautiful. Not because of expensive clothes. Not because of makeup. Simply because she looked genuinely happy. "You're late," Ethan teased. Emily looked offended. "I was exactly 2 minutes late." "That's still late. I'll remember this betrayal." They laughed. Then began walking through the park. For hours, they wandered without any destination. They talked about everything. Favorite books. Dream vacations. Embarrassing childhood stories. Future goals. At one point, they rented a small rowboat on the lake. Neither of them knew what they were doing. The result was chaos. Emily laughed so hard she nearly fell overboard. Ethan accidentally steered them in circles. A nearby couple openly laughed at them. By the time they returned the boat, both were exhausted from laughing. "I think we're banned now," Ethan said. "We should be." "Definitely." The afternoon sunlight reflected across the water. For a brief moment, everything felt perfect. As they continued walking, Emily grew unusually quiet. Ethan noticed immediately. "What are you thinking about?" She looked ahead. Then answered softly. "Nothing." "Liar." Emily smiled. "Okay. Maybe something." Ethan waited. She took a deep breath. "Do you ever wonder if you're exactly where you're supposed to be?" The question surprised him. "What do you mean?" Emily shrugged. "I moved to New York 3 years ago." He nodded. "I thought I'd have everything figured out by now." "You've published books." "Sure. You have readers who love your work." "I know. You seem successful." Emily smiled sadly. Sometimes success doesn't answer every question. Ethan understood that feeling better than she realized. For a few moments, neither spoke. Then he said quietly, "I don't have everything figured out either." Emily looked at him. "Really? Not even close." She laughed softly. "That's reassuring." They continued walking. The conversation shifted again. But something had changed. The friendship was becoming deeper. More. Coffee dates became common. Phone calls became longer. Inside jokes multiplied. They developed habits. Routines. Comfort. One evening, Ethan received a text from Emily. "Look outside." Confused, he walked toward his apartment window. Snowflakes were falling. The first snowfall of the season. His phone vibrated again. "Beautiful, isn't it?" He smiled. "Yeah. It is." A few seconds later another message arrived. "Want to get hot chocolate?" Ethan didn't even hesitate. "Already putting on my coat." 30 minutes later, they sat inside Maple and Bean. The same coffee shop where they first met. Snow drifted gently outside. Christmas decorations filled the cafe. Warm lights reflected against the windows. Emily wrapped both hands around her mug. "I love this place." Ethan looked around. "Me too." Then he looked at her. And realized something. It wasn't the coffee shop. It wasn't the city. It wasn't the snow. It was her. She was becoming one of his favorite parts of every day. The realization both excited and frightened him. Because friendship was safe. Friendship was simple. But what he was beginning to feel wasn't simple anymore. Emily was laughing at something he had said. Her eyes sparkled. Her smile was effortless. And suddenly Ethan wondered something dangerous. What if he wasn't the only one feeling this way? The thought stayed with him for the rest of the evening. Later that night, after Emily returned home, she sat at her desk. Her laptop remained untouched. The chapter she needed to finish remained unfinished. Because her thoughts were somewhere else. Someone else. Ethan. She smiled to herself. Then shook her head. No. Yet even as she denied it, she knew the truth. The friendship had changed. Neither of them had spoken about it. Neither of them had admitted it. But something new was quietly growing between them. Something neither friendship nor coincidence could fully explain. Outside, snow continued fall. The first date. Winter had fully arrived in New York. The city glowed beneath thousands of holiday lights. Storefronts sparkled. Christmas decorations hung from buildings. Snow rested on rooftops and sidewalks. The entire city felt like a scene from a romantic movie. For Ethan, however, the most important thing in New York wasn't the lights. It was Emily. Over the past month, their friendship had become the most meaningful part of his life. Every day began with her messages. Every evening ended with their conversations. And every time he saw her smile, his heart reacted in ways he could no longer ignore. The problem was simple. He didn't know whether Emily felt the same. One Friday afternoon, Ethan sat in his office pretending to review blueprints. Pretending. Because in reality, he had spent 20 minutes staring at the same page. His coworker Marcus noticed immediately. "You look distracted." "I'm working." "You're staring at one wall." Ethan sighed. Marcus leaned back. "Emily." Ethan looked surprised. "How did you know?" Marcus laughed. "Because you've been smiling at your phone for 2 months." Ethan rubbed his forehead. "Is it that obvious?" "Painfully obvious." Ethan remained silent. Marcus grinned. "So ask her out." "It's not that easy." "It literally is." "What if she doesn't feel the same?" Marcus shrugged. "Then at least you'll know." The word stayed in Ethan's mind for the rest of the day. At 7:15 p.m., he finally sent a text. His fingers hovered over the screen for nearly a minute before he pressed send. "Would you like to have dinner with me tomorrow night?" 3 dots appeared almost immediately. Then disappeared. Then appeared again. Ethan's heart pounded. Finally, a message arrived. "Like a date?" Ethan stared at the screen. There was no hiding now. "Yes. Like a date." Emily looked surprised. He continued. "I want to create something lasting." She smiled softly. "You already do." Ethan looked confused. "I'm serious." She leaned forward. "You design places where people build memories." The answer touched him deeply. Then Ethan asked, "What about you?" Emily looked down at her glass. "My biggest fear." He nodded. She hesitated. Then answered quietly. "Being alone." For a moment neither spoke. The noise of the restaurant faded away. Ethan understood. More than she realized. And somehow, that honesty brought them even closer. Hours passed. Dinner eventually ended. Yet neither wanted the evening to finish. So instead of going home, they decided to walk through the city. Snow continued falling softly. Streetlights reflected against the white sidewalks. The world felt peaceful. Beautiful. Romantic. They eventually arrived at a small overlook near the river. The city skyline stretched across the horizon. Thousands of lights sparkled against the night sky. Emily wrapped her coat tighter around herself. "It's beautiful." Ethan looked at her. Not the skyline. Her. "Yeah." Emily turned toward him. For a moment, neither spoke. The cold winter air surrounded them. Snowflakes drifted between them. and suddenly the distance felt very small. Emily's heart raced. So did Ethan's. The world seemed to slow down. Neither wanted to break the moment. Finally Emily smiled softly. This was a really good date. Ethan laughed. I'm glad you called it a date. Emily rolled her eyes. You literally asked me on a date. Still nice hearing it. She laughed. Then their eyes met again. This time longer. Several seconds passed. They felt like hours. Then. I was wondering how long it would take you to ask. Ethan blinked. Then another message arrived. I'd love to. A huge smile spread across his face. For the first time in weeks, he could barely stop smiling. Tomorrow suddenly became the most important day of the year. Saturday evening arrived. Snowflakes drifted softly through the city. Ethan stood outside an elegant restaurant in Manhattan. He checked his watch. Then checked it again. And again. He was nervous. Ridiculously nervous. Far more nervous than any business presentation. Far more nervous than any job interview. Because this mattered. At exactly 7 o'clock, Emily appeared. For a moment, Ethan forgot how to breathe. She wore a dark blue winter coat over an elegant dress. Her hair rested gently on her shoulders. She looked stunning. Emily smiled. You okay? Ethan laughed. Yeah. You look nervous. I am nervous. Emily seemed pleased by the answer. Good. Good. It means you care. The nervousness immediately became easier. Together they entered the restaurant. Warm lighting illuminated the dining room. Soft piano music played in the background. Snow covered the windows outside. The atmosphere felt perfect. Almost unreal. As they sat down, neither could stop smiling. It felt different from all their previous meetings. The friendship remained. The comfort remained. But now there was something more. Something neither of them could ignore. Throughout dinner, they talked about everything. Their childhoods. Their dreams. Their fears. Their future. For the first time, the conversation became deeply personal. At one point Emily asked quietly, "What's your biggest fear?" Ethan considered the question carefully. Then answered honestly. Living a life that doesn't mean anything. Deeper. More meaningful. The connection between them felt undeniable. No words were necessary. They both knew something important had changed tonight. Not because of the restaurant. Not because of the city. Not because of the snow. Because they had finally stopped pretending. The feelings that had quietly grown over months were now impossible to ignore. Eventually Ethan walked Emily home. They stood outside her apartment building. The night was almost over. Neither wanted to say goodbye. Emily looked up at him. Thank you. For what? For tonight. Ethan smiled. Thank you for saying yes. A comfortable silence followed. Then Emily stepped slightly closer. Close enough for him to notice every detail of her face. Close enough to hear her breathing. Close enough to feel his heart pounding. For one brief moment, both wondered the same thing. Should they kiss? The possibility hung in the air. But neither moved. Not yet. Instead Emily smiled softly. Good night, Ethan. Good night, Emily. She turned and walked toward the entrance. Just before disappearing inside, she looked back. Their eyes met one last time. Then she smiled. A smile Ethan would remember for a very long time. As the door closed behind her, he stood there for several seconds. Snow continued falling around him. And for the first time, he realized something undeniable. He wasn't just falling for Emily. He had already fallen. Completely. The only question left was whether Emily had fallen too. And deep inside her apartment, Emily leaned against her door and smiled to herself. Because she already knew the answer. Unexpected conflict. The weeks following their first date felt like a dream. Everything seemed to fall into place. Ethan and Emily spent more time together than ever before. Weekend walks became tradition. Coffee dates became routine. Late-night phone calls often lasted until midnight. Neither officially defined the relationship. But everyone around them already knew. Including Marcus. Including Emily's friends. And perhaps most importantly, including Ethan and Emily themselves. For the first time in years, both felt genuinely happy. Life seemed simple. Predictable. Safe. Unfortunately, life rarely remains that way. One snowy Monday morning, Ethan arrived at work expecting an ordinary day. Instead, his manager called him into a meeting. The news changed everything. The company had won a massive architecture project. A project worth millions of dollars. A project that could transform careers. And Ethan had been chosen as the lead architect. Normally, this would have been the best news of his life. There was only one problem. The project wasn't in New York. It was in California. Los Angeles. And it would require him to relocate for at least a year. Possibly longer. The room suddenly felt smaller. The excitement faded. His manager continued speaking. But Ethan barely heard anything else. One thought dominated his mind. Emily. That evening, Ethan sat alone in his apartment. The city lights shone through the window. His phone rested on the table beside him. Several times he picked it up. Several times he put it back down. Finally, Emily called first. Hey. Her cheerful voice immediately made the situation harder. Hey. She paused. You sound strange. I'm okay. No, you're not. Ethan sighed. Emily knew him too well. What happened? There was no easy way to say it. So he told her everything. The project. The promotion. The relocation. The silence that followed felt endless. Finally Emily spoke. Califo. Possibly longer. 3,000 miles apart. Different cities. Different lives. Different futures. Eventually Emily said quietly. When do you have to decide? 2 weeks. She nodded, though he couldn't see it. That's not much time. No. The conversation ended shortly afterward. Not because they were angry. Because neither knew how to process the news. For the first time since meeting each other, uncertainty entered their relationship. Over the next few days, things changed. Not dramatically. Not immediately. But subtly. Conversations became shorter. Texts became less frequent. The easy comfort they once shared suddenly felt fragile. Both were thinking about the same problem. Yet neither wanted to discuss it. One Friday evening, they met at Maple and Bean. The same coffee shop where everything had started. Snow fell outside. Holiday decorations still filled the cafe. But tonight felt different. The warmth seemed gone. Emily stared at her coffee. Ethan watched the snow outside. Neither spoke for nearly a minute. Finally Emily broke the silence. You should take it. Ethan looked at her. What? The job. He frowned. Emily. It's your dream. You're part of my dream. The words slipped out before he could stop them. Emily looked away. Her heart reacted instantly. Yet instead of smiling, she seemed sad. You worked your whole life for opportunities like this. So you can't give them up because of me. Ethan leaned forward. "I'm not giving anything up." "Yes, you are." The conversation grew tense. Not because they disagreed. Because both cared. And both were afraid. Emily wanted Ethan to succeed. Ethan wanted to stay with Emily. Neither option seemed fair. Finally Ethan asked, "What do you want me to do?" Emily hesitated. Then answered honestly, "I don't know." And that was the problem. Neither of them knew. Days continued passing. The deadline approached. Pressure increased. Work became stressful. Writing became difficult. And their relationship suffered. One evening, Emily attended a publishing event. Normally she would have invited Ethan. This time she didn't. Not intentionally. She simply forgot. Ethan learned about it later through social media. The discovery hurt more than it should have. He knew she hadn't done it deliberately. Yet the distance between them felt real. Growing. The next day, they argued for the first time. Not a major argument. But enough. Enough to leave scars. Enough to create doubt. Enough to make both walk away feeling misunderstood. That night Ethan sat alone in his apartment. Meanwhile Emily sat alone in hers. Both stared at their phones. Both considered calling. Neither did. Hours passed. The silence remained. For the first time since meeting, they went to sleep without speaking. The following morning brought no relief. Only more confusion. Emily tried writing. She couldn't focus. Every sentence reminded her of Ethan. Every page felt empty. Across the city, Ethan struggled through work meetings. Blueprints blurred together. Numbers meant nothing. His thoughts always returned to her. Finally, late that evening, Emily received a message. Not from Ethan. From her editor. The message contained unexpected news. A major publishing company wanted to offer her a nationwide book tour. An incredible opportunity. The biggest opportunity of her career. She should have been thrilled. Instead, she stared at the email in silence. Because suddenly she understood exactly how Ethan felt. Dreams came with costs. Success required sacrifices. And sometimes life forced impossible choices. For the first time, she truly saw the situation through his eyes. Meanwhile Ethan sat in his apartment looking at the California contract. His signature line remained blank. He thought about architecture. His future. His ambitions. Then he thought about Emily. Her smile. Her laughter. The way she made New York feel like home. The decision seemed impossible. Outside, snow continued falling across the city. Inside two separate apartments, two hearts struggled with the same question. Can love survive when life pulls people in different directions? Neither knew the answer. But they were about to find out. Because the hardest chapter of their story had only just begun. Separation. The deadline arrived. Neither Ethan nor Emily was ready for it. For 2 weeks they had tried to avoid the inevitable. They talked. They argued. They apologized. They promised. Yet no conversation could change reality. The California project was real. The publishing tour was real. And their future suddenly felt uncertain. One cold January afternoon, Ethan finally signed the contract. The moment his pen touched the paper, his stomach tightened. Everyone in the office celebrated. His co-workers congratulated him. His manager shook his hand. Marcus even bought him lunch. But Ethan couldn't fully enjoy any of it. Because success had never felt this complicated before. That evening he called Emily. She answered immediately. Hey. Hey. There was a long pause. Then Ethan said quietly. I signed it. Emily closed her eyes. Even though she had expected it, hearing the words still hurt. When do you leave? 3 weeks. Another silence followed. The kind of silence that says everything words cannot. Finally Emily forced a smile into her voice. I'm proud of you. Ethan's heart broke a little. Because she sounded strong. Too strong. As though she was trying to protect him from her sadness. Emily. It's okay. No, it isn't. She looked out her apartment window. Snow covered the streets below. For the first time in months, New York felt lonely again. I'll be okay, she whispered. But neither of them truly believed it. The next 3 weeks passed faster than either wanted. They spent every possible moment together. Movie nights. Coffee dates. Walks through Central Park. Dinners. Bookstores. Museums. Every moment became precious. Because every moment had an expiration date. One evening they returned to the frozen lake in Central Park where they had once embarrassed themselves in a rowboat. The lake was quiet now. Winter had transformed everything. Emily stood beside Ethan beneath the city lights. I hate this. Ethan looked at her. I know. It's not fair. I know. Tears filled her eyes. Not dramatic tears. Not uncontrollable tears. Just honest ones. The kind that come when reality hurts. Ethan gently took her hand. For several moments neither spoke. They simply stood together. Trying to memorize the feeling. The moment. The warmth. Each other. Eventually Emily asked the question neither had wanted to ask. What happens to us? Ethan stared at the city skyline. Then answered honestly. I don't know. The truth hurt. But lying would hurt more. Emily nodded slowly. At least he was honest. For a long time they watched the lights reflect across the frozen water. Neither wanted the night to end. Because endings were beginning to feel very real. 3 days before Ethan's departure, Emily left for the first leg of her publishing tour. Chicago. Then Boston. Then Seattle. Then several other cities. Their schedules suddenly became chaos. Flights. Events. Meetings. Interviews. Deadlines. The distance between them began before Ethan had even left New York. Phone calls became difficult. Messages arrived hours later. Time zones complicated everything. Both tried. Both cared. Yet life seemed determined to pull them apart. One night Ethan called. No answer. Emily was speaking at an event. The next morning Emily called. No answer. Ethan was trapped in meetings. Small disappointments accumulated. Tiny frustrations. Tiny misunderstandings. Nothing serious. Yet enough to create emotional distance. For the first time since meeting, they began missing pieces of each other's lives. And that frightened them both. The day Ethan left New York arrived. Gray clouds covered the city. The air felt heavy. As though even the weather understood. Emily rushed directly from the airport after returning from Chicago. Her taxi moved painfully slowly through traffic. Every red light felt personal. Every delay felt cruel. Meanwhile Ethan waited at the airport terminal. His suitcase sat beside him. The departure board glowed overhead. Soon his flight would begin boarding. He checked his phone repeatedly. No message. No call. Nothing. A painful thought entered his mind. What if she doesn't make it? The idea hurt more than he expected. Not because he blamed her. Because he needed to see her. One last time. Minutes passed. Then suddenly he heard someone calling his name. Ethan. He turned immediately. Emily. Running through the terminal. Breathing hard. Hair slightly messy from rushing across the city. Yet somehow more beautiful than ever. Relief flooded through him. She made it. Emily finally reached him. For a second neither spoke. Neither moved. Then she threw her arms around him. Ethan held her tightly. The world disappeared. The crowds disappeared. The airport disappeared. For one brief moment, only they existed. When they finally stepped apart, Emily wiped away tears. "I almost missed you." "You didn't." Her voice trembled. "I tried." "I know." More tears appeared. This time neither pretended otherwise. Neither tried to be strong. Because some moments deserve honesty. And this was one of them. A boarding announcement echoed through the terminal. The sound felt like a countdown. Emily looked down. Then back at him. What if this changes everything? The question hung between them. Heavy. Terrifying. Real. Ethan gently held her face. Then answered with complete sincerity. "Then we'll fight for it." Emily stared into his eyes. Searching for certainty. Searching for reassurance. Searching for hope. And somehow she found all. The words escaped before she could stop them. For a second everything froze. Ethan's eyes widened. Because it was the first time either of them had said it aloud. Emily immediately looked embarrassed. Vulnerable. Terrified. Then Ethan smiled. A genuine smile. The kind that comes directly from the heart. "I love you too." Tears filled Emily's eyes again. This time they were different. Not sadness. Not fear. Something else. Something beautiful. Something honest. For one final moment they kissed. Not rushed. Not dramatic. Just real. A promise without words. A promise that no matter how far apart life took them, what they felt was real. Then Ethan stepped back. Slowly. Reluctantly. And walked toward the gate. Emily watched him go. He turned one final time. Their eyes met across the terminal. Then he disappeared. Just like that. He was gone. Hours later, Ethan looked out the airplane window. The lights of New York grew smaller beneath the clouds. The city where everything had begun. The city where he met Emily. The city where he fell in love. Far below, New York continued shining. And somewhere within those lights, Emily stood alone. Holding on to hope. Holding on to memories. Holding on to love. Because now came the hardest challenge of all. Not falling in love. Staying in love. 3,000 miles apart. To be continued. Realization of love. 3,000 miles. That was the distance between Los Angeles and New York. On paper, it was simply a number. In reality, it felt much larger. For Ethan and Emily, every mile seemed to carry its own challenge. The first few weeks were surprisingly manageable. They called every night. They texted constantly. They shared photos of their days. Ethan sent pictures of California sunsets. Emily sent photos of snowy New York streets. They tried their best to make the distance feel smaller. But distance has a strange way of revealing truths. And over time, both began to understand something important. Love wasn't easy. Love wasn't convenient. Love wasn't simply about being together during good times. Love was a choice. A commitment. An effort. And every day, they chose each other. Los Angeles was beautiful. The weather was warm. The opportunities were endless. The architecture project exceeded Ethan's expectations. Everyone praised his work. Clients loved his designs. His career was thriving. Yet every evening, after returning to his apartment, the silence greeted him. No Emily. No spontaneous coffee dates. No walks through Central Park. No familiar laughter. The success felt incomplete. One Friday night, Ethan stood on the balcony of his apartment overlooking the city. The California sunset painted the sky orange and gold. Most people would have considered the view breathtaking. Ethan simply wished Emily could see it. Without thinking, he called her. Emily answered immediately. "Hey. Look outside." She laughed. "You realize we're in different states, right? Just trust me." Emily walked toward her apartment window. Outside, New York was covered in snow. The complete opposite of California. "What am I looking at?" Ethan smiled. "The sunset." Emily laughed again. "You're impossible." "Maybe." For several minutes they simply stayed on the phone. Neither saying much. Neither needing to. Sometimes love isn't found in conversations. Sometimes it's found in silence. Comfortable silence. The kind shared only by people who truly understand each other. Meanwhile, Emily's book tour continued expanding. Her novel became a national bestseller. Interviews multiplied. Publishers requested meetings. Readers lined up for book signings. Her dream was becoming reality. Yet every major achievement carried a strange emptiness. Whenever something exciting happened, she instinctively wanted to share it with Ethan. And when he wasn't physically there, she felt his absence. One evening after a successful event in Seattle, Emily sat alone in her hotel room. Her phone buzzed. A news article. The headline immediately caught her attention. The article featured Ethan's architecture project. His design had been selected as one of the most innovative developments of the year. Emily smiled proudly. As though the accomplishment belonged to both of them. Without hesitation, she called him. Ethan answered immediately. "You saw it?" She laughed. "Of course I saw it." His excitement was obvious. For the next 20 minutes, he explained every detail. Every challenge. Every victory. Every step. Emily listened carefully. Not because architecture interested her. Because Ethan interested her. There was a difference. And suddenly she realized something. She loved hearing him talk about things he loved. The realization felt simple. Yet powerful. Real love wasn't only romance. It was admiration. Respect. Partnership. Wanting someone else to succeed as much as you wanted success for yourself. Months passed. Spring arrived. New York began thawing. Flowers returned. Trees turned green. The world slowly came back to life. Yet despite their efforts, maintaining the relationship became harder. Schedules grew busier. Time became scarce. Exhaustion became common. Missed calls happened more often. Messages sometimes remained unanswered for hours. Neither intended it. Neither stopped caring. Life simply became complicated. One evening, after several stressful days, Ethan and Emily argued again. A small misunderstanding escalated. Frustration replaced patience. Emotions replaced logic. By the end of the call, both felt hurt. Neither slept well. The next morning, Ethan woke feeling miserable. Work suddenly seemed meaningless. Food tasted bland. The city felt empty. Everything reminded him of Emily. Everything. Meanwhile, Emily spent the morning staring at a blank laptop screen. Unable to write. Unable to focus. Unable to stop thinking about the argument. By afternoon, both reached the same conclusion. Neither cared about being right. They cared about each other. Emily finally called. Ethan answered immediately. Neither waited. Neither hesitated. "I'm sorry." They spoke at the exact same time. For a second, both laughed. The tension disappeared instantly. Then Emily said quietly, "I miss you." The words broke something inside Ethan. Because he missed her too. More than he had admitted. More than he had realized. "I miss you every day." Silence followed. Not uncomfortable. Just emotional. Honest. Then Emily whispered, "I don't want a life where you're only a voice on a phone." Neither did Ethan. That night, after ending the call, Ethan sat alone on his balcony. For hours he thought. About New York. About California. About architecture. About Emily. About the future. And for the first time, the answer became clear. His biggest dream had never been a building. It had never been awards. It had never been career success. Those things mattered. But they weren't everything. The truth was much simpler. His dream was sharing his life with someone he loved. Someone who understood him. Someone who made every city feel like home. Someone named Emily Carter. Across the country, Emily experienced a similar realization. She sat at her desk surrounded by notes, manuscripts, and contracts. Everything she once wanted stood within reach. Yet one question remained. What was success worth if she couldn't share it with the person she loved most? The answer arrived quietly. Like sunrise after a long night. Love wasn't competing against their dreams. Love was part of their dreams. And suddenly, both understood. The distance hadn't weakened their relationship. It had revealed its strength. It had proven something important. What they shared wasn't temporary. It wasn't convenience. It wasn't attraction alone. It was real. The kind of love capable of surviving uncertainty. The kind of love worth fighting for. The kind of love that changes lives. And somewhere beneath two different skies, in two different cities, two people reached the same conclusion. No matter what happened next. They wanted a future together. The only question was how. And the answer was closer than either of them realized. Reunion. 6 months. That was how long Ethan and Emily had been apart. 6 months of video calls. 6 months of missed hugs. 6 months of airport goodbyes that never truly felt finished. Yet despite the distance, despite the challenges, despite every obstacle life had placed in their path, they were still together. Stronger than before. Closer than before. And now, for the first time in months, they were about to see each other again. It began with a surprise. A very unexpected surprise. One Thursday afternoon, Emily was finishing a book signing event in New York. The event had been successful. Hundreds of readers had attended. Dozens of books had been signed. Photos had been taken. Interviews had been completed. By the time she returned home, she was exhausted. She unlocked her apartment door. Stepped inside. And immediately froze. A bouquet of white roses sat on the kitchen table. Beside it rested a small note. Emily's heart immediately began racing. Slowly she picked up the card. The handwriting looked familiar. Very familiar. The note contained only one sentence. Asterisk, look out your window. Asterisk. Emily's eyes widened. She rushed toward the window. Looked down. And forgot how to breathe. Standing on the sidewalk below was Ethan. Holding his phone. Looking up. Smiling. For a moment Emily simply stared. Her brain struggled to process what she was seeing. Was she dreaming? Hallucinating? Imagining things? Then Ethan waved. And reality finally caught up. Emily laughed. Then cried. Then laughed again. Without thinking, she ran. Out of the apartment. Down the stairs. Through the lobby. Onto the street. People turned to look. She didn't care. Nothing mattered except reaching him. Ethan barely had time to react before Emily threw her arms around him. The force nearly knocked him backward. He laughed as he held her tightly. For several seconds neither spoke. Neither wanted to. Because words felt unnecessary. The hug said everything. The months apart. The loneliness. The waiting. The missing each other. All of it disappeared in that single moment. When Emily finally stepped back, tears filled her eyes. "You idiot." Ethan laughed. "Hello to you too. You didn't tell me." That was the point. She hit his shoulder lightly. Then immediately hugged him again. Just to make sure he was real. The next several hours felt like a dream. They walked through Manhattan together. Hand in hand. Talking constantly. Interrupting each other. Laughing. Smiling. Neither could stop smiling. Every ordinary moment suddenly felt extraordinary. Crossing a street. Buying coffee. Sitting on a park bench. Everything felt special because they were together again. At one point Emily simply stopped walking. Ethan looked confused. "What happened?" She shook her head. "Nothing." "Then why did you stop?" Emily smiled softly. "I just wanted to look at you." Ethan laughed. "You flew across the country for that?" "Partially." They both laughed. Yet behind the humor existed something deeper. A realization. Months apart had taught them the value of simple things. Things they once took for granted. Holding hands. Sharing meals. Walking together. Being present. The ordinary had become extraordinary. That evening Ethan took Emily to a rooftop restaurant overlooking the city skyline. The same skyline that had witnessed the beginning of their story. The same city where everything started. As darkness settled over Manhattan, thousands of lights illuminated the horizon. The view was breathtaking. But neither paid much attention. Their focus remained entirely on each other. Halfway through dinner, Emily asked the question she had been avoiding. "When do you go back?" The smile on Ethan's face faded slightly. "Sunday." Emily looked down. 3 days. Only 3 days. The realization hurt. Ethan reached across the table and took her hand. Then he smiled. "Actually." Emily looked up. "What?" "There might be something I haven't told you." Her curiosity immediately appeared. "What are you talking about?" Ethan leaned back. For a moment he seemed unusually nervous. The sight surprised Emily. Ethan rarely looked nervous. Then he took a deep breath. And delivered news that changed everything. "The California project is almost finished." Emily blinked. "Okay. And my company offered me a choice." Her heart began racing. "What kind of choice?" Ethan smiled. "The choice to stay in Los Angeles." Emily waited. Or return to New York. The world seemed to stop. For several seconds Emily simply stared. Unable to process the words. Finally she whispered. "New York." Ethan nodded. Emily's eyes immediately filled with tears. "You're coming back." "I want to." The words barely left his mouth before Emily stood and hugged him. Right there in the middle of the restaurant. Ignoring every stare. Ignoring every witness. Ignoring everything except happiness. For the first time in months, the future seemed possible again. Real. Close. Within reach. The following 2 days became some of the happiest days of their lives. No pressure. No uncertainty. No distance. Only time together. They revisited their favorite places. Maple and Bean. Central Park. Bryant Park. The bookstore where Emily had once signed copies of her novel. Every location felt like a chapter from their story. A reminder of how far they had come. One evening they returned to the exact bench where they had once talked about dreams and fears. The city glowed around them. Emily rested her head against Ethan's shoulder. For several moments neither spoke. Then she whispered, "I almost lost hope." Ethan kissed the top of her head. "So did I." Emily smiled sadly. "But we didn't." "No." Another silence followed. Comfortable. Peaceful. Then Ethan said quietly, "You know something?" "What?" "I think the distance taught me something important." Emily looked up. "What?" Ethan smiled. "Home isn't a place." She waited. "It's a person." Tears immediately appeared in her eyes. Because she understood exactly what he meant. And exactly who he meant. For the first time in a very long time, everything felt right. Not perfect. Life would never be perfect. Challenges would still come. Obstacles would still exist. But now they knew something they hadn't known before. Whatever happened next, they would face it together. And for Ethan and Emily, that made all the difference in the world. To be continued. Final challenge. For the first time in months, the future looked bright. Ethan was returning to New York. Emily's writing career was flourishing. The long-distance chapter of their relationship was finally ending. Everything seemed perfect. Almost too perfect. And sometimes, just when life appears easiest, it presents one final test. 2 weeks after Ethan officially returned to New York, life felt wonderful. He rented a new apartment in Manhattan. Emily practically lived there already. They spent evenings cooking together. Weekends exploring the city. Mornings drinking coffee at Maple and Bean. The simple moments they had missed for so long suddenly became part of everyday life. Neither took them for granted. Not anymore. One sunny afternoon, Ethan and Emily sat together in Central Park. Spring flowers covered the gardens. Children played nearby. Street musicians performed in the distance. Everything felt peaceful. Emily rested against Ethan's shoulder. Then her phone vibrated. She glanced at the screen. Immediately, her expression changed. Ethan noticed. What happened? Emily stared at the message. For several seconds she said nothing. Then quietly answered. "My publisher. Everything okay?" She swallowed. "I'm not sure." The meeting took place 3 days later. Emily arrived expecting routine business discussions. Instead, she received the biggest offer of her career. A major film studio wanted to adapt her best-selling novel into a movie. The opportunity was extraordinary. Life-changing. Her publisher was thrilled. Her literary agent was thrilled. Everyone was thrilled. Except Emily. Because there was a condition. The production would take place in London. For at least 18 months. Possibly longer. The room suddenly felt smaller. The excitement disappeared. A familiar feeling returned. A feeling she recognized immediately. The same feeling Ethan had experienced months earlier. The feeling of choosing between love and opportunity. That evening Emily sat across from Ethan at his apartment. Neither touched their dinner. Neither seemed hungry. The silence felt familiar. Too familiar. Finally Ethan spoke. "London." Emily nodded. 18 months. She nodded again. The irony wasn't lost on either of them. Months earlier, Ethan had faced the same situation. Now it was Emily. The roles had reversed. And somehow that made everything harder. Because now both understood exactly what the other had felt. Emily looked down. "I don't want to leave." Ethan reached across the table and took her hand. "I know." Her eyes filled with tears. "I finally got you back." His heart hurt hearing those words. Because he felt the same. After everything they had survived, the idea of another separation seemed unbearable. Yet neither could ignore reality. This wasn't just another opportunity. It was Emily's dream. The kind of dream people spend entire lifetimes chasing. Over the next week, uncertainty returned. Friends offered advice. Family members offered opinions. Publishers applied pressure. Film executives wanted answers. Everyone seemed to have a suggestion. Everyone except Ethan. Whenever Emily asked what she should do, he gave the same answer. "What do you want?" And every time, Emily gave the same answer. "I don't know." Because the truth was complicated. She wanted both. The career. The relationship. The dream. The future with Ethan. Why did life always act as though people could only choose one? One rainy evening, Emily visited Maple and Bean alone. The familiar coffee shop felt different. Quieter. More reflective. She sat at the same window where Ethan had first seen her months ago. The same notebook rested on the table. The same city moved beyond the glass. For nearly an hour she wrote. Not a novel. Not a screenplay. Just thoughts. Questions. Fears. Dreams. Eventually she reached a single sentence. A sentence that changed everything. Asterisk, love should not require someone to abandon their dreams. Asterisk. She stared at those words for a long time. Then she smiled. Because suddenly she understood. The choice had never been between Ethan and her career. The real challenge was learning how to protect both. That night she met Ethan at their favorite spot overlooking the river. The city skyline glowed across the water. The same place where they had shared one of their earliest dates. The same place where they had fallen deeper in love. Ethan immediately noticed something different. Emily looked calmer. Certain. Confident. He smiled. You figured something out. She laughed softly. Maybe. They stood together beneath the city lights. Then Emily turned toward him. I want to go. The words hung in the air. Ethan nodded slowly. Not surprised. Not disappointed. Simply listening. Emily continued. I want the movie. He nodded again. I know. But. She smiled through tears. I don't want to lose us. Ethan gently touched her face. You won't. Emily's voice trembled. How can you be so sure? For a moment he looked out at the city. Then back at her. Because we already survived the hardest part. She stared at him. And realized he truly believed it. The distance. The loneliness. The missed birthdays. The missed holidays. The missed moments. They had survived all of it. Together. And if they could survive that, maybe they could survive anything. Several days later, Emily accepted the offer. The film adaptation officially moved forward. Hollywood news sites reported the announcement. Publishers celebrated. Readers celebrated. The entire industry celebrated. And this time, Emily celebrated too. Because something felt different. She wasn't leaving Ethan behind. They were moving forward together. Just in a different way. A healthier way. A stronger way. A more mature way. The challenge still existed. The distance would still hurt. The separation would still be difficult. But fear no longer controlled them. Love did. And that changed everything. 1 month later, Emily stood at the airport. Again. The same airport. The same departure gates. The same emotions. Yet this goodbye felt completely different. Months earlier, uncertainty had surrounded them. Now certainty surrounded them. They knew who they were. They knew what they wanted. Most importantly, they knew what they meant to each other. Emily wrapped her arms around Ethan. "I'm going to miss you." Ethan smiled. "I'm going to miss you too." She laughed softly. "That wasn't very creative. I'm an architect." "Fair point." They both laughed. Then Ethan handed her a small envelope. Emily looked confused. "What's this?" "Open it on the plane." She narrowed her eyes suspiciously. "You planned something." "Maybe." The boarding announcement echoed through the terminal. Time had arrived once again. But this time neither cried. Neither panicked. Neither feared the future. Because now they understood something important. Love isn't measured by distance. Love is measured by commitment. And theirs had never been stronger. Emily kissed him one final time. Then walked toward the gate. Halfway there, she turned around. Ethan was still watching. Still smiling. Still believing. And for the first time, Emily felt completely certain. This wasn't another goodbye. It was simply the next chapter. The final challenge had arrived. And together, they were ready for it. To be continued.